Yo, for anybody that's thinking of doing it, never eat something that's been in the freezer a little too long. Trust me, it's not worth it. Hey guys, I haven't been here in a while. It's been busy, very busy. So I came to talk about basketball because basketball happened today, and that's what I'm supposed to do on this channel, right? A lot of stuff happened in the NBA today, and I'm gonna mainly talk about the games I watched. Celtics versus Cavs, I guess I'll start with because that was the main thing of the night. The Celtics were on an 11-game win streak before tonight, and they were hoping to keep that win streak going. And with Donovan Mitchell out, it actually looked likely that they would win the game until they didn't. The Cavs clutched up. I actually was watching the game, and I started watching maybe third quarter, second quarter, I don't know. But when I was watching, it was the fourth quarter. Cavs were down by like 20 points. I was like, you know what? This game's probably over. I'm going to go do something else. Turned back on the game. It was a like 3-point game. Dean Wade was cooking. I didn't know what was going on. And the Celtics sold. Based off of what I saw, Kristaps had a good game. But then again, I don't really know because I didn't watch the full game. But it was just the very end where the Celtics collapsed. They didn't get the last call with the Jason Tatum. The coach's challenge from the Cavs worked, and they got the call that they wanted. And do I think it was the right call? It was close because Darius Garland did jump in his landing space, which is something I noticed, but he didn't exactly foul him above, like, he didn't like hit him he didn't touch him really. He like kind of like lightly touched his chest, but that's about it. So in that case, it wasn't really a foul, but if you're counting the landing space thing, I guess you would call it a foul. But they didn't call it a foul, and the Cavs won the game off of Dean Wade tipping, and it was very good. There was one play of the game that I saw that worried me when Evan Mobley came down on his ankle and it twisted, and I was like, ugh, that does not look good. The second I saw that, I knew something was going to be wrong, and he didn't return, which sucked. But the Cavs still were able to win this without Mobley. Jared Allen clutched up, Garland, both of them are All-Stars, by the way, former All-Stars, which is crazy thing to think about. Dean Wade, Niang, LeVert, Okoro, all those guys were coming in, playing good minutes, and they won the game in the end. Now, does it say anything for like NBA? I mean, the Cavs are really good. Is there anything else I need to say? Cleveland is not somebody to be taken lightly because I'm going to talk about this more later, but the East is very, because we've been talking about how the West is very unstable. People know that the West is unstable because it's like so many good teams all over the conference. The East is actually pretty unstable now too. It's like very close together from like that fifth, or not even fifth, just from that fourth to like 10th spot is basically half it, not 10, 8th maybe? Yeah, that 4th to 8th spot is like half a game apart. Crazy, but we'll see. I'm gonna talk about that later. For now, Cavs, Celtics, very good game. I'm glad I watched. Cavs win, Celtics lose. And at the end of the day, for NBA fans in general, that's a win. So, moving on to the next game that I watched. Suns, Nuggets. Now, also, I did not watch the full game of this. I watched in like the third quarter and the fourth quarter. That's about it. But from what I saw, Jokic did not have a great passing night. And that's the real thing. Oh my goodness. This reminds me because I remember when it was the playoffs last year. I can't remember which year it was. But one of these years in the playoffs, Jokic dropped 40 in a playoff game and they lost. And the reason that that's important to me is because he didn't have double-digit assists in that game. He just had 40 points and like rebounds, didn't have that many assists. And Jokic also scored very well in this game. He got a lot of rebounds in this game, but only 6 assists? Not that many assists and 7 turnovers. So I think teams, if the Suns figured it out, teams might, I don't know if they really figured it out because I don't know if their defense was really the problem or was it that lots of the Nuggets, because oh my goodness, the fourth quarter. I'm going from topic to topic, but I'm just rambling here. I'm just talking. Like, you should be expecting this. The Nuggets and Suns fourth quarter offense was abysmal. It was horrendous, very, very bad. But in overtime, that's when the Suns clutched up, and that's why they won the game. But the Nuggets were able to come back from this deficit because they were down too. And they were able to come back because of how bad the shooting was in the fourth quarter. But they weren't shooting good either. It was just both teams not able. I remember there's a stretch where like both teams went back and forth breaking threes. It was very, very bad until like Michael Porter Jr. made a layup. And so I don't know if it was about Jokic not playmaking the best or if it was about his teammates not making shots. But either way, when Jokic isn't playmaking and his team isn't scoring off of his assists, that's when the Nuggets are at their weakest. Because if teams can get Jokic to be a less effective playmaker than he is, because he's probably definitely a top five playmaker in the league. If they can decrease his playmaking ability, that's how you stop the Nuggets from winning games. And that's how, if any of these teams like the Suns, the Clippers, the Timberwolves even, faces the Nuggets in a playoff series, it'll be interesting to see how they combat Jokic's playmaking, to see if they find out that they have to let Jokic beat them. Because if they let Jokic beat them, he might drop 40, but they might not win, because they really win when Jokic is playmaking. With Phoenix, I don't know if they really focused on that, but they held Jokic to less than double-digit assists, 7 turnovers, and they won the game. So it just proved my point even more. I had this point from like way back when, I don't even know how long ago. But if people could figure the Denver Nuggets out, because right now the only team in the league I see being the Denver Nuggets in the playoff series, a full playoff series, is the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are the favorite, and they're the one team that has the best chance of beating Denver in the playoff series. But if other teams can figure this out, I should say, then they might have chances to beat Denver in a playoff series as well. And Denver might not be as unstoppable as they were last year, because they were crazy last year. You gotta understand, they got through each one of their series easily. They did not have a single 7-game series. If teams figure out what Jokic is like, if they figure out that Jokic has to pass to help the Nuggets win, and if he's like not playmaking, then they win. I'm just saying, if teams figure that out, it might be wraps for the Nuggets. Peyton Watson is a guy for the Nuggets who I heard about much. I heard about a lot. I didn't really know his game much, and I watched him tonight, and he was very impressive. Honestly, his defense was amazing. The one thing was his shooting. He could not shoot the ball. The teams, like the Suns, left him wide open at one point, and he shot it and bricked it. He missed so many open threes. And it was kind of bad. It was kind of sad to watch because he's such a great player on the defensive side of the ball, but on offense he's not that great, and it's not looking good. But if he can get his shot right in a few years, I don't think he'll be able to get it right in time for this year's playoffs. But if he can get it right in a few years, of course he's going to be a great quality piece for any team that takes him. Of course the Nuggets, of course, because they want 3-and-D players, but for any team that takes him, he'd be a great quality piece. So, Michael Porter Jr. had a great game today. Jamal Murray had an okay game. He missed a lot of shots, but he had some turnovers as well, but he was pretty solid. Really, it was the turnovers. That was the whole reason, because these Suns role players get disrespected a lot because they aren't great, but they actually are pretty, like, they do what they can. Nurkic had a 30 rebound game the other day, and today he was guarding Jokic, and he was doing pretty well in the first half, at least from what I heard, from what the commentators said, but he fouled out because Jokic is Jokic, and they had to put in Drew Eubanks. And Drew Eubanks was coming in, getting quality minutes, grabbing rebounds, hustling defensively, doing what he needs to do for the Suns to get the win. And in the end, like, I remember when Drew Eubanks came in first in the third quarter, he put up like 6 points immediately. So it was pretty impressive to see him, and Saban Lee, to see, there weren't really any other Suns Royce O'Neal, I guess, but yeah, these Suns role players aren't bad. So if the Suns can actually figure out how to beat the Nuggets, because I have a feeling that's going to be their main issue this year's playoffs. After that, it shouldn't be, because they probably have to face a team like the Thunder, maybe. It's like, because if the Suns are in the 6th, 7th, like they're in the 6th seed right now, and they're probably going to end up around that 5 to 7 spot. If they're in 6 or 7, they're gonna have to face either the Nuggets or the Thunder, or both. And I feel they could beat the Thunder in a 7-game series. That's a conversation for another day. But when it comes to the Nuggets, it's really about if they can beat Jokic. Because last year, one game where they won was when they let Jokic drop 40 on them and they won the game. If they can do that again and figure out what Jokic has to do for the team to be successful and for the team to lose and for the team to win, I'm just saying the Suns are not looking so crazy as a having the Suns as a contender is not looking that crazy anymore. That's all I'm saying. And also, they didn't even have Devin Booker today, which is pretty impressive. Bradley Beal did great. Grayson Allen did amazing. He hit like 8 threes or something like that. Kevin Durant, he had some struggles in the fourth quarter, but when he came to overtime and when it mattered most, he did his thing. And we know that Kevin Durant's going to do that, at least most of the time. Oh, no, actually all the time, because he's the one that carries the teams to the places they need to be. It's just the supporting pieces aren't that great. But we'll see what happens this playoffs. I'm going to be excited for this year's playoffs. It's going to be amazing. Now, when it comes to the rest of the league, first of all, my team got blown out by the Pelicans. I don't want to talk about it. It was a 40-point game. It was sad. But the Pelicans are good. The Pelicans are like a 4 or 5 seed right now, which is actually really impressive. So I'm excited to see if they do anything in the playoffs. Right now they're matched up against the Clippers, which is a little scary for them. I don't know if they can beat them. But you never know if the Clippers, because Westbrook's injured right now. If Kawhi misses some time, you never know. Anything is possible. Then we have the Magic, who won against the Hornets today, and that put them up to the 4 seed, which brings me to my next point. The East. Oh my goodness, the East is crazy right now. The Magic are a 4 seed. A team with the same record, I think, is right below the Knicks. Then right below them is the Heat, if I remember correctly, with like the same record or around the same record. Then slightly worse is the Sixers in 7th. And slightly worse is the Pacers, who got a win today, but are still in 8th place, which is wild. The East is very, very crazy. Of course, they call it the Wild West because the West is very wild, but the East this year is also looking very, very interesting. So I'm excited to see what happens, how things turn out, how each team fits into their spot, which team's gonna get the lucky privilege of facing Boston and Milwaukee, which team might get a chance to make it to the second round when facing Cleveland, and which team gets an even bigger chance to make it to the second round facing either Knicks, Magic, Sixers, whoever it is. So we'll see what happens. I'm actually pretty excited. Surprisingly, I didn't pay attention to this. Shigun put up like 45 today. Crazy. I didn't expect that at all. Like I looked at it, I was like, what the heck? 45, like 16 rebounds, 5 steals, like crazy. But hey, good for him. He's doing this thing. The Rockets are nice, but not this year. In a few years. Give it a few years. Amen, Shigun, Cam Whitmore, Jalen Green's been actually doing pretty good recently. Jabari Smith Jr. Hey, give him a few years. We got the veteran leadership with Freddie and Dylan Brooks. They might have it. But yeah, that's all I have to really say for the video. I've been recording for 19 minutes and I've just been talking about basketball. And my cat was kind of interrupting, but he's chilling in the background. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry for being inconsistent. I've just been busy. But that's about it. Bye. Basketball happened today, and that's what I'm supposed to do on this channel, right? My cat's outside, but we're gonna not worry about that. as I was saying, I'm gonna talk about basketball today, if we can. Okay. No. We're gonna try and talk about basketball. We're gonna try. If he isn't too distracting, I'll keep going. Today we had a lot of games in the NBA. Okay, buddy. Go somewhere else. Anywhere else, please. Okay. That works. He's on my printer now, but sure, whatever.